Guys, it's CTilde, and today I want to color in this profile. I did this like a year ago when crowns first came out, but I want to redo her. So, I also want to talk about using references when you're coloring, because that's how I learned to color, was to pull up references on Google and to use them to try and shade a realistic face. So with this girl, what I did was I Googled black and white profile woman. That's all I Googled. And then I scrolled down until I got to this picture. Now this is not exactly how I'm going to try and color it. Some of these are a little more complicated than they look, but it is a good start. Stuff like this is a good way to learn how to shade a face, to try and copy what you see. It's not like an exact match of what we're doing, but it's pretty close, you know? And I definitely recommend looking for black and white pictures as opposed to a picture that's in color, because black and white is going to give you a better idea of where shading needs to go, as opposed to looking at skin color and seeing skin tones and being like, well, that's more orangey there and that's more pinkish, and I have no idea how to even create that, you know? Don't worry about that. Worry about where the dark and the light is when you begin shading. So something like this is what I would pull up originally to learn how to shade a face. But we're just going to go ahead and shade her the way I want to shade her. So I'm going to lay down my base coat here, but I do want to make it a little bit lighter, so I'm going to create my own skin tone. So I'm going to pick up this next lightest shade, zoom out a little bit in the crowns, and dot, 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 dot. And then I'm going to highlight that, change my crown to solid, and color it in. So as you see, it's not quite as dark as that original tone we put down, but it's not as light as this one. So it's a good medium between the two. And I want to save it, so let me highlight it again, and I'm just going to put it here in her lips so that, you know, I'm about to color over it. So I want to be able to go back to my mid shade whenever I want. So what I like to do again is to start with the adding the other layer of skin shade. I tempted to start with this one, but it is so subtle, you guys don't see that very well. So we're just going to use the second darkest shade, more of an orangey darker shade. And I'm just going to frame around her face. I don't like that. Never liked the first frame. Sheesh. Come on, there we go. Something like that. I also want a cheekbone for her, so I'm going to dot that in. Again, I'm used to shading these, and I've done this one before, obviously, so I have a pretty good idea where I want her cheekbone at, you know? Not too low, not too high. I think you just have to keep practicing and eyeballing it to figure out where you want them. Then we're going to go ahead and kind of dot in her eye socket here, and we'll make that eyeball pop. And then to me, what really makes it 3D is also that temple. So you can kind of bring this up here, you know, dot it up there to figure out where that temple goes, but I kind of know where I want it. So I'm going to dot it in darker right there. And then I'm assuming the light's, you know, coming from this side right here. So it's just going to touch the bridge of her nose and the ball of her nose, but not the sides of her nose. So, oops, I don't like that. Just going to bring it down a little bit. And when it comes to her, nostril, you know, we could draw it in, but I feel like, you know, you're opening yourself up to a lot when you do that, you know. Yeah, it could look really bad. That's why when something like this, I would just prefer to dot it in. Like dot, 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 dot. And then, you know, go from there. So I'm just going to dot it in and shade under her nose here. Bring it down to her lip. So we'll pull that out to make it look 3D. And then I'm assuming her lip's big enough where the light isn't going to touch too much under her. What happened? So we're going to shade there to give it more of a 3D effect. And then I'm just going to go around again. Dot everybody in. And then I'm just going to go ahead and shade some of this out. Dot, just nitpicking where I want a little more color in there. And yeah, this would be the solid start. Again, like I've said, I really just begin every picture the same way. It's the same thing I do over and over and over again, you know? Find your go-to and stick with it, I guess, you know? Then take that darker color and bring in the darker. So I'm going to dot around her cheekbones here, or cheekbone. Bring it around her jaw a little bit. Bring it around the jaw a little bit. And just go ahead and darken under her jaw here. So it's not so atrocious. She does have a long neck. She's part giraffe. It's fine. We're not judging you. You do you. It's fine. And now I'm dotting in right here where I think her eyelid is. I'm not trying to draw this, you know, big line here. I don't want it to be so obvious. I want it to be a smooth transition. That's why I'm a dotter. Dot in under her nose here. And we'll deal with her nose in a minute. I'm afraid her nose is probably going to give me some pain, but we'll see. Dot it out. I'm using this other mid-tone, our beginning one, before we made it lighter, and kind of dotting around to smooth everybody out. Probably want her cheek to come just a little bit further. And yeah, and then to bring out her eyelid here, I'm going to start with this mid-tone. And it's probably going to catch the light like right here, but again, I don't want to do a solid, obvious line, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit and dot, 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 dot. Could I say dot one more time? Is that annoying or what? Let me highlight my shade that I like here, dot, dot. And zoom back out and see how her eyelid is beginning to pop. Making it more 3D. Not gonna lie, her nose is kind of killing me. So let me highlight here. Bring it in a little bit. Bring it out a little bit. Kind of took our base tone and I'm pulling it around the edge here of the nose. I'm trying to figure out where I want that nostril. That helped a little bit. Not exactly sure why I decided to do that. I wish there was some more artsy reason to let you know, but I'm not exactly trying to do it like this because that seems really complicated, and that our blackened out nostril is kind of ruining that effect. Maybe that will help if I highlight her nostril a little bit. It's okay. It's okay. There we go. That's going to help us a little bit. So we are kind of following what the picture is showing us. Jot it out a little. Zoom out. Yeah. And just blend everybody in a bit better. Zoom out. Ugh. You know what? I'm just gonna move on from it, come back to it because it's driving me nuts, and that's okay. And maybe I won't be able to figure it out, and maybe I won't post this video, but we shall see. But when it comes to this part right here, what I like to do is highlight right here. Obviously, I don't like it touching her chin, so when we zoom out, it kind of gives it a more 3D effect like that. I can see the other side of her lip popping out. God, that's terrible. But anyway, to create an even darker shade, I'm going to pull in the black where I have a dark tone, dot, highlight that, undo, because I don't want that there, and kind of bring in a darker tone where I want it. Maybe at her temple, maybe at her eyelid here, maybe at the bottom of her nose. I probably messed this up. Ugh, whatever. We're gonna pretend like that's not happening. It's okay, we all make mistakes. Pull it under her jaw here, around the back. Yeah, you know, it's just layering upon layering, you know, and I really just hope with these videos it helps give you an idea of where to start, at least in the way that I do things, you know. And then remember that color we just made is sitting right there. Or we can just highlight it where we most recently used it and get it basically in there. Kind of make her cheek pop a little bit more. Not opposed to the highlighting her jaw here. So, see, you miss it. Here. Just so subtly. Maybe too much. It looks okay. Something like that. You get the effect. And when it's darker, you know, right here, in this area, it really makes it pop. And I probably am going to make that darker because it's, oops, redo. It is where a lot of shade is happening. But yeah, this is how I would approach a profile. And again, it's such a good idea to use a reference picture. And I find that just Googling the exact words that you want, you know, black and white profile woman does the trick. Yeah, I might zoom through this and put that in, see how we end up with this nose. But thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I have fun doing these, even though I really haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to color much. It's really sucked, you know, like I said in my last video. Dealt with kidney stones and that's not like a one and done deal. It just keeps happening and it's terrible. And you have my sympathy if you've ever had them. It's just terrible. And then, you know, work and stuff. But yeah, these are fun, and when I can color, I really like doing it.